Yeah. So Freddy, don't put this part in. Um, and in this egg hatches a Riolu.
Mm.
So my question is, my Machoke's level 38. That's the second highest. I need to send this to Freddy.
Good morning, New York City, and welcome to Behind Enemy Lines, a retrospective of 3 fan bases. New episodes every Wednesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Yeah, I feel like we've lost like 5 listeners since I started that. Good.
Probably.
Yeah, it's sounding a little bit different today, and mostly because we kicked Freddy out. Freddy is no longer. No, I'm kidding. He's just not here. Freddy decided that spending time with his family was important, and couldn't be me, couldn't be us.
Couldn't be me.
You know, so, but also if it sounds a little bit different, it's because Josh and I are not behind enemy lines today. Filming from Texas on my end, and I believe filming from Georgia. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well, man. You know, equipment's different, but setup's the same, and so I'm ready to talk about some football.
Oh yeah, are you excited for all the holidays coming up? Christmas. I know you celebrate the Packers falling out of the playoffs every year.
Hey, we're still in the playoff.
For now, we'll talk about that. I have some thoughts here. Fun fact, I mean, honestly, you guys are really benefited by the fact that the Lions lost this week, or so you
That was
think.
huge. No, it was huge. The division's still up for grabs. All right, we'll get there, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Josh and I were already we were talking about my my Pokemon team before this. I'm going through an old Nintendo DS playthrough, doing Pokemon Platinum and all that. And you know what? I'm deciding whether I gotta, there's only 6 spots on a Pokemon team, right? There's only 6 spots, and you gotta kind of get rid of the redundancies, the teams that or Pokemon that aren't really pulling their weight, aren't really going to make the most exciting addition to the squad, and that's kind of how the Packers kind of are. They're my Machoke right now. They might be coming down. By the way, if you have any advice, leave a comment on what I should do. I'll fill you guys in later. But yeah.
So you're advocating for the NFL to go back to their old system, 2-by-6 teams?
No. I'm just advocating for the Packers.
There's 7 spots, so the Packers are in that 7th spot right now. So whether you like it or not,
it's not a perfect metaphor. But you know what? The NFL is not perfect either. That's why we got guys like Phillip Rivers. Although he looked great last night, by the way. Oh yeah,
he was having fun.
Tuesday. He looks great. He looks like I would look if I just got off the couch. Like maybe looks great isn't the word for it, but the way he plays, he actually was making better throws than I've seen from some quarterbacks this season. Cough cough, Max Brosmer, cough cough.
Yeah, he proved why there are only so many quarterbacks that can actually do what they're doing.
Yeah. I actually genuinely. We had this on the docket later, but by the way, for those listening, the audacity for Freddy to not be here today, and then send us an itinerary.
I was gonna say,
what the heck, man, Freddy? I know you're editing this, and I know you're listening to this. That's wild. He did it without prompting. We didn't ask for one.
This is what you're talking about.
Yeah. He just said, this is what you're talking about. He even filled in my dirty dog of the week, which is not who he said. Not doing that for him. But you know what? We're going to go out of order real quick if you're cool with this, because we're on the quarterback conversation.
Yeah, where are we going?
Yeah, how do you feel about Tyler Shuck, man? Like, I want to talk actually about a couple of quarterbacks here, and about just kind of the future of some of these teams, the future of some of these quarterbacks. But with Tyler Shuck, the Saints are on a run right now. Have they found their guy for next year, for the next couple years? Like, what are your thoughts on Shuck? And he's telling everybody to go shuck themselves. What are your thoughts there? And what do you think they can do to kind of build this team up, dude?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's had a couple of really good spots against the Panthers, and the only other standout games were like against the Jets and Dolphins. Not that he's had the most opportunities, but when you look at his overall picture, he's got an 86 rating, 7 TDs, 5 interceptions. He's not really blowing me away. He's just playing well against some really bad defenses. Right now, the Saints have a top 10 pick. I think they're 8th, and in order to protect that, they should lose out. The teams behind them are close. I think the Saints need to lose out, and it's a QB-heavy draft next year. If you're going in with Shuck, sell that top 10 pick, get more picks, because you can get a wide receiver. You need a running back. Devin Neal and Condre Miller are not doing it, no matter how much I want to talk about Condre Miller. Yeah, Kamara's
and Kamara's done. Like, I love the guy. I wrote about this in the offseason, just kind of being like, he was going to have to. So for perspectives, I wrote a fantasy football article in the offseason that was about the rate of running backs scoring 200 or more points a game in a season. Mm-hmm. And in that, there's only been in the last, in the data that goes back to, basically, if you played in the last decade, I had you in there. Even if you ended your career in the last decade, so I actually essentially had 2 decades worth of data. If the only player that had as long a streak, and it was tied perfectly for consecutive 200-point seasons, was Matt Forte. And neither of them made it to, I believe, what is now, I want to say I would have to pull up the statistics, but neither of them made it to what is now like this upcoming season to hit that 200-point threshold. And so as much as I wanted him to succeed and break the record in my model, it was not likely. But, it's kind of one of those things of, it's the same likelihood of Jonathan Taylor having the year that he had, at least to start. Having the year that he had, right? It's like that also wasn't likely, so I had kind of fingers crossed that he'd be able to pull it together. But yeah, I think he's kind of like in Aaron Jones territory with me now, where I'm like, he might have one game where he gets over 100 yards total, and maybe he gets 1 touchdown, but he's done, he's out, his career's been legendary and fantastic.
It's been great.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. No, I think if you're the Saints, though, maybe the best route, because you got above you right now in the draft, the Raiders, the Browns, Jets, Cardinals, and then the Dolphins are right on your tail. All could get a quarterback. We'll see about the Browns. We'll see about the Dolphins. They're a little more up in the air, but Cardinals, Jets, Raiders, definitely going after a quarterback, in my opinion. So if you want, just really build in the draft, get some nice pieces around Shuck, and if it doesn't work, you're going to be top 10 in the next year. Go get your quarterback then.
Yeah, and honestly, they still have. I really like, I really like Olave, dude. Like, he's
great, but you need a number 2.
Yeah, it was heart-wrenching to see that quote that he put out this week. Where he was talking about how he was 24 and considering retirement. I was like, oh, that hurts, man. That's rough. And so I really like what they're kind of doing there. What I would say is Shuck has kind of, off of what you said, Shuck's bought himself another year, at least in my opinion. He kind of reminds me of young Andy Dalton, where I'm like, you could sit there realistically, and depending on how his progression goes, you could sit there and maybe have this guy start for a decade and make some playoff runs if you have the right team around him, right? Dalton had AJ Green. Dalton also had, TJ Hushmanzada way back in the day. He had some guys that he could sling it to, and also had like a decent defense with him.
The Saints have the decent defense. They can get better, but it's not bad.
I think the bigger thing on this is Shuck's bought himself another year. I would say also Kellen Moore's bought himself another year. Going into this kind of run, I love Kellen Moore, but there was a thought process that maybe he was out at the end of the year, a la kind of what the Patriots did last year with Mayo, right? Where it's like, oh, hey, this is a one-year stopgap guy. We're going to go to our real coach, quote unquote, next year. And now I think you're in a position where, no, this like the Kellen Moore experiment is worth attempting another year at. His offenses look exciting, and it's something I've been saying even before you were on the pod, that the Saints games have been interesting. The Saints games, I mean, when they played the Patriots, it was a back and forth game, and yeah, they've been losing these games, but they've been putting up numbers. Their defense have been making stops. They are the poor man's Dallas Cowboys in the way that like they've had some entertaining games, even if they're gonna lose it. And so I've been impressed. What I want to also talk about is like we're talking about some quarterbacks here with guys like Shuck or Shador, right? Or even and we can go back to like the Colts who don't have a set quarterback for next year. Daniel Jones is not under contract. They, Anthony Richardson's still there, but, my family was asking me last night when he's come back, and I was like, for the Colts, never. He's never playing for the Colts. He will get traded to the Jets or the Dolphins or some team that he'll flame out on in 2 years, and I hope he does, and I hope because he's electric when he plays. But, it's one of those things of you have these teams that don't really have a quarterback position there. How many of these guys do you think are back next year starting for this team? And yes, I'm including Phillip Rivers in that conversation.
Are you talking about the Colts?
Well, I'm talking about just in general. So you have the Browns with Shador. You have the Colts with Rivers. You have the Cardinals with Brissett.
I think Brissett's gone. It really depends. Cardinals in a position to draft a quarterback, which is important for them, and I think they will and should. With the Browns, you gotta give Shador a chance. He's played well enough in spots. Just commit to it. It's been a mess how they've handled it. I think just commit for a year, see what happens. He's good enough. The Jets, they need a quarterback. And the thing with Daniel Jones, was it Achilles or ACL?
I believe it was Achilles.
Yeah, so I think, the conversation's completely different with the Colts if it wasn't for that injury. I think they re-signed Daniel Jones, and they bring him back because he played really well for a moment there. But we'll see. I think they're still committed to Daniel Jones. I think they like what they had with Daniel Jones. He's just not going to be back, so they need to be the ones to bring in a veteran like a Brissett and just, wait and see what they can get with Jones after post-Achilles tear. So... And then with the Cardinals, I've covered the Cardinals. They're done.
Well, you also have Quinn Ewers with the Dolphins. Do you think he's sticking around for? I mean, like, do you think
what's going on with Tua? Tua's he has a contract. What are they doing with that?
They're gonna. I imagine they try to trade him. I imagine they try to trade him like the Raiders, who, much like we talked about last week, you're sitting there with Pete Carroll, and you're sitting there with an older head coach. And a guy that you probably aren't going to fire, right? He has that pedigree. It's his first year. You have an offense with Genty, with Bowers, with a high pick coming up this year. Like, you should be able to retool that offense. I imagine the Raiders are going to take his contract and get a small draft upgrade from the Dolphins for doing it, getting a 5th round pick for a 6th, but you also you take Tua.
Take on that contract. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Quinn Ewers is the answer in Miami, but I do think that at least for the Saints, they bought themselves another year. And it's really easy. If it doesn't work out, you fire the coach, you draft a new quarterback because you're going to have a top 10 pick probably. Any new head coach is going to want that. With the team you're building around, don't go into the offseason with a new quarterback. Just let them ride out, get a new running back, get a wide receiver, build that O-line. It's going to be super enticing to build on top of that for any new coach, quarterback coming into the league 2 years from now.
Do you think we have... First of all, Do you think Phillip Rivers returns next year, whether on the Colts or on any team? No.
No, he's done. No, I think he's done. He's having fun, but I don't think it's worth him coming back.
I don't know, man. Old man Joe Flacco started something. He started something. He's starting a revolutionary age of geezers, dude. So here's the other question I was gonna say. Do you think that this genuinely kind of starts this wave where these guys, throw in, he's not going to do it because he kind of fell off the tail end pretty aggressively, but like throw in like a guy like Carson Palmer or even, I would love it, but he's not going to do it. He's out of football so much, but Andrew Luck, right? It's like you throw in some of these guys that are kind of on the tail end of their, they've been retired for a while. Do you think that this is going to start kind of a resurgence of the geezer quarterback?
Dude, imagine Andrew Luck coming back for the Colts. How crazy would that be?
I have an Andrew Luck jersey, and it's back when I was about 90 pounds heavier, and so it does not fit at all. And I would put that thing on. I tie it to my waist so it sticks on my on myself. But oh my gosh, I love Andrew Luck. Ugh.
He'd be great. I don't know if there's a new wave. I just think some teams need veterans that can play, and the Colts were in a position where they didn't exist in the market anymore. There's no trading anymore. There's no guys on free agency. I think there's plenty of veterans still in the league on benches that those are the guys that get moved around. There's no geezers coming back. They should stay retired because they just can't do it anymore. They can do it in their backyard, but not on the main stage.
I will say I kept waiting for Brett Favre to kind of lace some back up. Here's a couple of points off that. I was talking to my friend the other day, and then I'll come back to some backup quarterback talk. I was talking to my friend the other day, and we kind of got into a conversation, and it kind of feels like the Hall of Fame in about 7 years, is going to be completely, you're not going to have a quarterback come in. Think about right now. That's not named Patrick Mahomes? Who is, age 29 to 32 that is worthy of a Hall of Fame spot?
There's a lot of young quarterbacks.
It's a lot of young quarterbacks and a lot of old quarterbacks. There is nobody in that range with the exception of Mahomes. Mahomes is 30, and that's it.
Aaron Rodgers.
But Aaron Rodgers is 39. He's 40. He's 40. That's what I'm saying. 42. You're gonna have in 5 years when all of those guys go through, right? And then you're gonna have a 5-year gap because Mahomes isn't retiring anytime soon. But that's I'm trying to think of other names, and because Dak's not making Hall of Fame. I'd love him to. He's not going to. You're not
it's
having.
Not impossible.
He's not going to.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's not going to. You have Herbert has to do a lot of stuff, but he's also super young. I mean, you got all these guys are in their 26, 27 age. We're gonna have a serious break before the next quarterback enters the Hall of Fame.
Probably, yeah, because the only other quarterbacks around his age, there's Lamar, who's 28, 29, and then Josh Allen, who's 29, but they're all right in that same...
Realistically, unless either of them win a Super Bowl, do they make it?
Those two I could see making it without the Super Bowl. Maybe just an appearance is enough for them, but the MVPs, and especially for Lamar, he's won 2, right?
Yeah.
They've really turned around franchises, changed the way the game's seen. I think they could make it without a Super Bowl.
I mean, it just feels like we went from this age, which we did, right? You're going to have Stafford coming in a couple of years.
Yep.
And also, you should have Stafford coming in a couple of years. He's going to make it.
Yeah, he's going to make it.
But there are, if he had never won that Super Bowl, so that's kind of
where... He might win a second.
Oh, I know, but that's where I kind of sit with guys like Josh Allen, with Lamar, with Joe Burrow's so young, right? It's we're gonna have, there's no like 34, we just had like that crop, right, where it was like Peyton Manning, even Eli Manning, right? It's like you at least can make a case for him, where I feel like honestly you're gonna have a lot of like third ballot, fourth ballot guys that are gonna start getting like talked about because there's not any players coming through, any quarterbacks coming through. But they'll get replaced with wide receivers because there's a big crop of older wide receivers that'll be coming through. Speaking of finally going back to what we were talking about, the other thing I want to ask you, is it just me, or does it feel like the importance of the backup quarterback has been exponentially increased this season? Because I'm thinking about like even some of the more important ones, or the better ones. So Jimmy Garoppolo, as much as you love him or hate him, probably one of the best backups in the league right now because he has starting experience. Malik Willis, who we saw this last week, is really good. Like he's really good. I liked him. I actually thought he performed better than Jordan Love this week, but we'll talk about that. And but then you even have like Milton, right? Joe Milton with like the Cowboys. Like he's electric. You have these guys that are really good backups that didn't even show up. And Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, right? Like all these guys that had a chance. Joe Flacco. Like it just feels like the importance, like this offseason, we're about to see quarterbacks get thrown relief pitcher money. I don't know if you remember back in the day when the Kansas City Royals won the World Series. It was like 2013, 2014. And they won it by their bullpen, by the strength of their bullpen. And for the next 5 years, bullpen pieces were paid out the wazoo until teams started winning with kind of piecemeal bullpens again. And now it's like you'll see like the elite closers, but you're not going to see like a mid reliever getting $20 million a year. He'll get like $4 million a year, right? And I feel like we're about to see that with backup quarterbacks after this year. Bless you. Especially a team that is commanded by, I don't think the Colts, unless they need a lot to happen to make the playoffs now. But
too much.
Especially with a team commanded by like Old Man Rivers, if they can make it to the playoffs, you're just gonna see these guys get bigger contracts, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts? Like, do you think that we're entering the age of the backup quarterback, the age of insurance, essentially?
Yeah, and I think, we've been there for a second. Think about Gardner Minshew a couple years ago with the Colts when the whole Anthony Richardson situation, he went down. He carried them to the playoffs, and I mean, this year we've seen quarterbacks. Joe Burrow gets hurt all the time, and so they traded around for a quarterback, and backup quarterback's important. I've seen Jordan Love go down a couple times. Like, this is my personal experience as a Packers fan. And I've always been like, okay, do you know what? But we're not out of it because I really like Malik Willis. He's athletic. He can drive this offense the way it needs to go, and that's enough. For contending teams especially, your starter goes down. You want someone that can at least be capable enough to get down the field, get some points on the board. If you have a good defense like we do, that's like really valuable for us. And so it's going to be interesting how much money they start making, because you're salary capped. You only have, this much space, and most of the franchise quarterbacks, they're already making, $59, $60 million a year. That's a lot of the money already. Wide receivers are more important. Big defensive stars like Micah Parsons. But that backup position is really important. And so I think, it's just, you really want one of the good ones. Because if you have a bad one,
I mean, we saw what happened with the Ravens this year.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like they bring in Cooper Rush, which, by the way, as a Cowboys fan who saw Dak Prescott get hurt a lot and then saw a lot of Cooper Rush, we did not win those games because of Cooper Rush. Like, he was never the reason that the Cowboys won a game, with the exception of the one game we beat the Steelers back in the day. But, like, beyond that, he was never that reason, right? It was like 160 yards a game that he'd throw, maybe like one touchdown. But it's also with some of the best receivers in the game. And so to me, it's like, yeah, like you see that the Ravens are out of it right now. Yes, because of their quarterback play during the season as well with Lamar. Like, he hasn't been as electric, as elite as he typically is. But on a bigger level, they're still winning games with him. They were abysmal without him. And even like you saw this last week when he goes out, like Snoop's doing his best attempt, but once again, this is a guy who he is their version of Old Man Rivers. Like, he is their version of Phillip Rivers, where they are bringing him back. He's been bouncing from like I think in between the Ravens and being back on the Ravens, he was on like 4 different teams, including the Browns, where they had like 5 quarterbacks at one time and they cut him. To get cut by the Cleveland Browns, a division rival, and being allowed to go back to the Ravens is just, that tells you where the league feels on him. It's one of those things of like, I'm sitting there and it's like your playoff hands are riding on a guy that you're kind of stuck with. And so investing, again, Joe Flacco to me is about to get paid. If he wants to keep playing, he's about to. I'm going to go out there on a limb and say he's going to get paid $10 million, like a 1-year contract, $10 million.
That feels worth it. I mean, Browning was awful, so they had to do something to keep him. I mean, it didn't work out, but it was better.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, and look at. I was going to say the Cardinals for a second there, they were competitive. They were looking like one of the better teams in the league, and Jacoby Brissett, while he's not winning necessarily, he was keeping them afloat all season. Yeah. Having one of those top echelon guys is just worth it.
Well, and this feels like one of those offseason that if you feel comfortable with your quarterback situation, you want to play roulette too, you'll be able to trade a guy like, Malik Willis, like Joe Milton, for like a 4th-round pick. Like it for like a steeper price than you typically would. Whereas you look at like the Trey Lance, stuff that happened in the offseason, and it's like, I think we got him for like, we like let him go, and maybe got like a 7th-round pick back, like nothing. And so yeah, it's one of those things. I think the quarterback position both has increased in value this season, but also, I wouldn't necessarily say in the elite ways. I would say like the depth of the position has increased in value and what you need. But when you're signing a guy like Joe Burrow to a big contract, or Lamar Jackson, or even if if you were to say that you need to sign Josh Allen to a new contract right now, he hasn't had health concerns. But because of the health concerns of everyone else, I am getting there's a little voice in the back of my head that's like, hey, like, we do need to protect ourselves. And so that's just like where I kind of sit with it. I think, you're going to have a lot of teams that are looking for guys. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to need somebody. They're going to, I could see them go and get a guy like Anthony Richardson, even to just compete in that quarterback room, and then to have on the bench in case something were to happen.
Well, he might not be that valuable on your bench. He might hit himself in the eye again. But, I'm just saying. And for the record, Packers, don't trade Malik Willis. Don't get rid of him. He's great. Let's keep Malik Willis. He's a great backup.
Speaking of Malik Willis, let's jump over to the to my favorite segment every week. No Pack No. I do have a quick thing that I want to bring up. So, Freddy and I yesterday, when we were talking about possibly doing it, we had a whole thing planned. So I'm just gonna, for very, very just briefly, if you will, with me. Look, dearly beloved, we gather here today. We gather here today to witness the passing of a dear and true friend. When I was, a dear and true friend of ours, the Green Bay Packers. Rest in peace. Their season, their life, their goodwill. And now, some words from those close to the dearly beloved.
Whatever, man. man. That was terrible.
Freddie and I were
The
gonna
season
come
is
in
not
dressed in suits.
over.
We were just gonna come in dressed in suits and have a little burial. Let me move my camera down. Oh, yeah, you're getting lowered into the grave. There you go. All right, we're doing the rest of this segment from the grave. How are you feeling, man? Packers are done. Packers are done. I'm not even gonna ask you. Packers are done. Done. Gone.
What is the definition of done? Because we're in the playoffs right now.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are. We're the 7th seed. What are you talking about?
Well, you're in the playoffs right now. If the Lions win out,
you think we're going to lose out? You think we're going to... Go ahead. We have to lose both those games, and the Lions have to win both.
Ravens are playing for something. They can still win their division. Yeah.
Barely. I mean, but the Vikings...
No, they can't.
The Vikings, you think we will lose to the Vikings?
Vikings love to play spoiler.
So do the Lions.
That's a good defense, man. It's good defense.
You want to know what's going to happen? So I got a lot to say on this, but here's what's going to happen. We're going to win out, okay? And the Bears are going to lose out, and we will still win the North. Period. That's what's happening. Calling it now. All right? We're winning the North. All right, and let's get to the Bears game, okay? If you're a Bears fan and you're proud of that win, you have a sad existence. I didn't realize how bad you had it because I knew we beat you all the time, but you're happy with what you did? You didn't win that game. We lost that game. And if you don't see that, you're not an objective football viewer. I'm a Packers fan. We lost that game. And let's go over why we lost that game. Jordan Love gets hit on a dirty play, knocks him out of the game, concussion protocol. No Jordan Love. We didn't have Josh Jacobs for the entire second half. No Kraft for the season. No Micah for the rest of the season. All right, they're done. It still took these miraculous events to happen for you to beat us. 3rd and 20, face mask penalty. What are we doing? But if it wasn't for that, game over, okay? Botched onside kick. That's the game. That's the game. Romeo Dobbs, why are you afraid of the football? That's the game. If that doesn't happen, you still lose to us with no quarterback, no Mike Parsons, no Josh Jacobs. In your home field, you would lose to us still. Then a blown coverage on 4th and 4 to get the touchdown, just to tie it, just to tie the game. It took all that, and then on top of that, we had to get to overtime. Okay, we had to get to overtime. We're on 4th and 1. We had a botched snap, and that's where it was over, okay? It took all of those events to happen. All of those injuries, all of those crazy football plays. That's what it took for the Bears to beat the Packers in Soldier Field. You're happy with yourselves? You're losing to the 49ers. You're losing to the Lions. We're beating the Ravens. They're both on the road. Did you know that, Brayden? They got to go to San Francisco, and then they got to go to Detroit. After watching what the Bears are this season, they barely win in the craziest ways. You're happy that you're a 4th quarter comeback team? It's because Caleb sucks. It's because he doesn't know how to play football for 3.5 quarters. He is awful. It takes the most insane things to happen for you to be happy, and you're still going to lose the division. You're still going to lose the division. Now, if Jordan Love doesn't come back, that's going to be a little tougher.
He didn't look good in the first, when he was playing, though.
Yes, he did. The first drive was fine, but if he stays in that game, we win by 20, Brayden. The Bears couldn't do anything until we had no offense. It took offense for him to stop us.
What's going on with Josh Jacobs, man? Because, he keeps saying, they keep saying he's healthy, and then they just don't play him.
No, I think there's something lingering. I don't know what it is, but they wouldn't pull him for nothing. Regardless, you know what? Keep us the 7th seed. I want to go back to Soldier Field. You think that's going to happen again? Think about everything I just listened, Brayden. Everything I just said. And you think that we are going to lose to the Bears in the playoffs? They need all that to happen again. What are the chances?
I don't know, man.
That we crumble.
You love
like
bringing
that.
up that QB rating. Love only had a 78. He was 8 for 13, 77 yards, no touchdowns. He couldn't do anything, man.
He was hit and got a concussion.
Oh, yeah, at the end of it, but
No,
that's
it wasn't
that's
the
on
end
the
of it. That was
13th pass. He doesn't get.
That was top of the second quarter.
Yeah.
That was. If he stays in the rest of the game, we win by 20. All right, look.
Why weren't you why hadn't he thrown a touchdown whenever you were while he was in the game?
Okay, look, it takes a second for things to get rolling, but genuinely, go down the laundry list of reasons that the Bears won that game, and tell me that you think the Bears are a better team than us.
It's not
at full strength.
It's not even that. It's not that I genuinely do not. I'm not saying I don't even think that the Bears are that good. That to me actually is a bigger sign on you. Like that on the Packers, because to me, the only way for the Lions, like we talked about, the only way for the Lions to make the playoffs is for the Packers to miss now at this point, right? So
we'd have to lose out.
Yeah, you'd have to lose out. They'd have to win out. It's a tough road for them. Like I joke, but it is legitimate. Like it could happen, but it's also one of those things. It just feels like to me this is a bigger morale body blow. Like yet another morale body blow to this team that when I say are they done, I mean like even if they make playoffs, again, like we've talked about it, this is a conference championship, in my opinion, conference championship or bust year, and then the next 2 years has to be Super Bowl or bust. But like if you're a one and done in the playoffs, that is I don't care about injuries. That's a lost year. Like that is because this, Love, I don't think he was looking great when he was healthy. But on top of that, like, if the Packers aren't careful, they're missing the playoffs all thanks to a pesky tie. And they're going to be fighting. Like, it's going to be the Ravens are going to be fighting this week. The Vikings are going to be, the Vikings hate you. So
yeah, but the Vikings suck. We're not losing. Ravens at home, all right? The Ravens, who have looked terrible. They're fighting. They've looked awful. Is Lamar going to be back? Who knows? I hope Jordan's back. But against our defense, the Ravens have been terrible. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be Snoop versus Malik in that game, which is going to be...
And I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
It's why we talk so long about backup quarterbacks, man. Like, this is where we're at now. This is
Malik Willis is so much better than Snoop Hundley.
Yes. But
by far away.
I don't know. So here's the thing. I'll give the Bears their flowers. That game was one of the best ones I've seen this season. It was a brilliant game. It was painful for you, but it wasn't brilliant.
But it wasn't brilliant because it was a cheap Bears team that had to be so dirty. That's brilliant. That's brilliant to you.
The last offensive drives. I was working at a bar while we were watching it, and me and the GM put a phone up and we're watching in the back kitchen. We've been tracking it all game, but like we were watching it in the kitchen and just we're freaking out. That like those passes, you can say Caleb's terrible all you want. Those passes were phenomenal.
They were, but you want to talk about a brilliant game? Let's go back a couple weeks. The Bears-Packers, that first game was electric, and there are no excuses on any end. We were all full health. We were looking both on great. That's a great game. Bears coming back in a real way then, I'll give it to them. Wow, that's impressive. You won in Soldier Field the way you did. You didn't win that game. We lost that game. And if Jordan Love comes back, I think we're good enough to win out. And I do think the Bears have a really hard schedule. I could easily see us still winning the division at 11-5-1. And that pesky tie is going to be the reason we win the North. Because the Bears would lose out.
That tie is so fun for me because
The one Jerry Jones paid for. Let's just make that clear.
Freddie and I talked about this when it happened. It's worse than a loss and it's worse than a win because it is identifiable, right? It's like you can kind of sit there and be like, oh, did the Packers play the Cowboys this year? Yeah, they beat them. Oh, no, did they lose? And you can kind of do that. Nope, it's very individual. It is one tie, and I love it. I love it to death because it's like it just sticks, and it'll stick forever because every time you talk about this year, you're going to say, oh, they had a tie. Who'd they tie with? The Cowboys. And it's so fun. I love it.
That's your Super Bowl, Brayden. That's the Cowboys Super Bowl. Good job.
Look, I will take it. You said in fantasy this year that your Super Bowl was beating me, and you know what? I respect that. And so, and for the Cowboys, it's the same thing. A tie was the equivalent of beating the Packers this year. So here's what I'll say. Yeah, realistically, right? If I'm being completely unbiased, you guys, you're gonna make playoffs. Should make playoffs.
Yeah.
But weird things have happened this season. I mean, we talked about it. The Ravens are still alive. The Colts are still alive. It's like there are a lot of avenues that are still open right now, and we've seen weirder things happen in the NFL. I would be worried about this team once they get in the playoffs because it just feels kind of like the Lions did last year, where the injuries just were piling up and piling up and piling up, and you're like, they're pushing forward, and it's resilience, it's strength. It's really cool to see, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if there's much left in the tank. Like, they are getting beat over and over in the face with these injuries and these morale blows, and Josh Jacobs not being healthy. I worry for that team to even make it past one round of the playoffs because I sit there and I go, and if that happens, do you think this was a lost year? Do you think this is a losing year if you lose in the first round of the playoffs on a year that you traded 2 first-round picks to get a defensive stud?
All right, let's go down that list and address things one by one. The first thing I will say, though, is if there are teams, think about the Eagles. They went on that losing streak, and now they're turning it around, and now everyone's talking about them like, they're like, we'll get there, don't get me wrong, but, we had 2 hard weeks, all right? 2 weeks full of injuries and crazy things that happened. But if we can win out and we can get healthy enough, that's enough momentum. Like, if we're still the 7th seed, I am not worried at all about going into Soldier Field if that's where we got to go and play the Bears. That team doesn't scare me at all for the playoffs. So we can get past them, in my opinion. Now, the Rams, the Seahawks, those are really hard opponents. The Eagles are really hard for us. They just play a different style of football. But if we get the right matchups, let's say we get Bears, 49ers, I don't even know if that's possible. We can still get there. There are avenues for us to be successful. And I think we could still even win the division. And I really mean that because I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at, the opponents, and with us winning out and the Bears losing out could totally happen. And as long as we get Jordan Love back, if he's back next week, perfect. We don't have Micah anymore. But we have a good enough team. Our Christian Watson, he's a little beat up, but if he gets healthier, Jaden Reed, he's got to get fully healthy. Josh Jacobs has to get fully healthy. But I'm confident in this team. I don't think it's over. Now, is it a lost year if they're one and done in the playoffs? I don't think it's a lost year. It's a missed opportunity. I will never, though, regret trading for one of the best defensive ends in football. You can never convince me, man, I really wish I had that first-round pick back. We have Micah Parsons, and we have him under contract for a lot of money, but he is historic. He is over 12.5 sacks a season for 5 years. He's generational, and I'm never going to be upset. You need 3 really great things, I think, to succeed. You need a quarterback. That's great, which I think we have. One great defensive end, which we have now, and then a great left tackle. We don't have a great left tackle, but we have a good left tackle. If you have those 3 things, you could be a successful football team. And we have the pieces. So if it doesn't go the way we thought it was going to go this season, it was really looking like Super Bowl, and I really still think we have a chance to win the Super Bowl if we play well and we have the right matchups, it's a disappointment. But and I'm not going to use injuries as an excuse. Everyone goes through it. Look at the 49ers. They've been able to do it all season. But I think that we're still good. And I'm fine going into next year knowing we're going to be competitive. You know, Micah should be back early season, hopefully. And then we're all going to get healthy. And we're competitive next year. I'm not going to miss that first-round pick. Keep it. Keep it. I don't need it.
Okay. I mean, hey, look, it's what the Panthers said back in the day, too. Traded up.
We're not the Panthers.
Traded up for Bryce Young, and now the two pieces that they essentially traded were the ones that beat you this last week with DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. So, yeah, the Chicago Panthers, I think, were the ones that beat you guys this last week.
I'll get the DJ Moore. We have a segment coming up, but trust me, I'll get the DJ Moore.
Oh, man. Speaking of, I am going to go ahead and just text you my tiers just so you have them. But yeah, so let's go on. You talked about the Eagles, man. Oh wait, Freddy's not here, so we can't defend it. I'm very excited. Look, Jalen Hurts. I'm not even gonna talk on Jalen Hurts. I'm gonna talk on the Eagles.
So are the Eagles still a threat?
No. That's just, it's easy. Okay. I sent that meme in our group chat, and it was, it's like, I think it's like Mike Wazowski, or no, it's SpongeBob SquarePants getting like really excited, and it's literally when they beat the Commanders and the Raiders, dude. The Commanders and the Raiders. This does not change.
That's Kenny Pickett and Marcus Mariota you're talking about.
Wow, yeah! You're right, backup quarterbacks, because that's the big thing. Look, it's something that we talked about. It's something that we have discussed for weeks. This offense has not shown up against a winning team. So this is not their fault. This is not their fault that this is their schedule, right? I'm not going to knock them. A win's a win's a win. And take it from the Cowboys. You can lose those games because the Cowboys have, right? Like, that's it, right? But what I will say is that this doesn't change anything for me. In fact, actually, that first half against the Commanders this week was scary. Like,
it was scary.
They looked so bad, and they clicked it on in the second half. And I hope, for their sakes, that maybe they can turn it around. But man, this week against the Bills, this is the start of their playoffs. This is going to tell us who they are. If they can go out and beat the Bills, I'm calling it right now. I don't care who they play in round one of the playoffs, they're gonna win. That's and I hate the Eagles, and I'll say that, right? It's like they're gonna win the first round of the playoffs regardless of whoever they play, if they can win this game. But if they lose this game, they're in the playoffs. They're getting bounced, and they're getting bounced in a bad way. Like, it is, their offense is dead. Again, this is an emotional team. This is a momentum-based team. And I think that this game is going to tell you who the real Eagles are. And I don't feel good about their chances winning this game. At all.
No, I have the same things written down. Look, they bounced back, but I've seen them play super poorly this season in the worst spots. You beat the Raiders. You beat the Commanders. That's not very impressive to me. Now, you have 2 playoff wins. You did beat the Rams, which that's a good win. And then you beat the Packers. I also think that's a good win. So they had their get-right games, but I agree with you. The Bills are the true test here because that's the last hard game of the schedule. And that's going to either push them into the top tier of competitors in the NFC or keep them in the middle of the pack. And what I mean when I say that is I think the Rams and the Seahawks have really separated themselves as really great teams with good defenses that they should be the favorites. And then you got the Bears, the 49ers, the Packers, who are still trying to find themselves, still trying to get healthy. They're winning, but they're not good enough to separate themselves. And if they go up against one of those Seahawks-Rams teams, then, that's going to be a tough spot for them. The Eagles sit in the middle of that. If they can beat the Bills, I don't mind putting them up there and say they can be true contenders. But if they lose against the Bills, then I put them with that, 49ers, Bears, Packers group. It's just, you can win. You just probably won't, right?
Yeah, I sit there and I go, like, you bring up the Rams, okay? When they beat the Rams, they went to 3-0. That's how long ago. This is a different team.
It was a long team, yeah.
Yeah, and they won off of 2 blocked field goals in the fourth quarter against the Rams. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and dog a team and call it luck, but like, you can't rely. I'm not sitting there going, oh gosh darn, I feel really. It's like, again, it goes to you talking about the Bears getting excited about winning that game. They get that onside kick. That's found money. That is not, you didn't earn. Like, yes, you can prepare a field goal block. You can prepare an onside kick recovery. But yes, the margins are so thin and so small that I sit there and I go, like, they talk about, oh yeah, we beat the Rams. They beat them by 6 in week 3 with 2 blocked field goals in the fourth quarter. I'm not hanging my hat on that win, especially since now, look at what's happened since then, right? It's like the Rams have kind of torn away, and, it looks like they're really legit contenders, versus the Eagles have kind of just pity-puttied their way into with their soft division. Like,
if that game happens again, Eagles lose easily.
Yeah, like they're just, it's not the same team. They're very different teams now. And to your point, yeah, it's like, you know what? I pit them. The unfortunate thing is that they're gonna win that division, and so, but like, for them, it's unfortunate because, had they been the 5 seed, they would have been able to play a team like Carolina or Tampa, and actually, I think, like, have a legitimate chance at winning that game. As the 3 seed, you're playing either, let's just pretend that the, like, standings stay where they lie and that the Bears, that the Bears win that division. So what? Okay, you're gonna go,
great fantasy.
You're going to go play either the Rams or the 49ers right now because the Seahawks are winning their division. It's like, you're going to go play one of those teams. Oh, crap. It's like, it's one of those, like, okay, you have to go play the 49ers or the Rams. And we just saw, like, yeah, Brock Purdy had a crazy game last night. The Colts defense couldn't do anything, and I feel for them. I feel for Philip Rivers because he actually looked really good too. But it's like, it's the 49ers are putting their stuff together. The Rams, I think, take them easily. And it's just, yeah, man, like, I don't think you can sit there and freak out. A win's a win. You do you. But I don't feel good about the Eagles. And if they beat the Bills, maybe I'm changing my tune.
That's fair, yeah. I want to see them. It's in Buffalo, right?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, it is.
So I want to see if they can do that and they can make it look good. It's going to be a different story. I mean, I feel in the NFC, not so much the AFC, you really want a good match with that first round, because if you're getting one of the bottom of those West teams right now, like the Rams are the 6th seed. If I'm the 3 seed, I don't want to play the Rams first round. I don't care that it's at home. What do you mean, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and that defense, they get to come and play us first round of the playoffs? That's tough. I mean, you want to be the team that's facing the Panthers or the Bucks. You want to be the team that's facing the Bears, and so, or the 49ers, depending on if you get home field or not. So the Eagles, in the division, everything's tight. 11-4, 10-5, 12-3. Packers are 9-5-1. It's playoff seeding is going to really matter, especially for a team like the Eagles that can get super emotional, that if things aren't going their way and they're on the road, they're prone to just let it go. They might just call it in. They might throw in the towel halfway through.
So there was a fantasy football, one of the podcasts I listened to, they were just kind of, throwing out this idea of, like, things that you should think about maybe changing going into next year, right? And they were talking about playoffs, and they were talking about expanding, like, let's say you're doing a 12-team league, you expand to a 7-team, right? Similar to, like, what the NFL does. But then to add strength and weight to those top two teams, right? To give them something else, like kind of a like, hey, you know, I know typically like top two teams would have a bye. That one seed's gonna have a bye, but the second seed's not. Allowing the second seed to choose who plays who, like the schedule in that first week, and then allowing the first seed to choose who plays who in the second week when they come off their bye. That, like, in fantasy, I was like, oh, that kind of sounds fun. In the NFL, I wish that would happen, because you would have
your opponent.
Yeah, you would have the South just get absolutely dogged right now. Like, I mean, Freddy loves the Panthers, so he can't defend them here.
No, he loves Bryce Young. Let's be clear.
but
I don't feel like
it's one of those, like, I sit there and I'm like, I mean, those teams fighting for the 5 seed, it's important. And genuinely, we're looking at, like, let's say that the Rams are the 6 seed, the 49ers are the 5 seed, right? Let's say the Seahawks win their division. If you make it to that conference championship, you could have a 5 seed hosting. Like, if we're going 5 versus 6, like, you could have a 5 seed hosting that game because of how good the wild cards are this year. I'm terrified if I'm like even the second seed, right? It's like you're playing against either the Lions or the Packers. Like, that's going to be terrifying.
I think seeding is going to matter a lot, and so it's tight. You know, we'll see. Also, can we just say we didn't really cover it. I don't know if you guys covered it. The Seahawks-Rams game. That was crazy.
That was awesome.
What? That was amazing. I just want to point that out. That might have been the game of the year. Are you kidding?
I had to step out at like the beginning of the third quarter to go on a quick little like dirty water run, which we'll talk about dirty dogs in a little bit. But I had to step out to go like check on a place. And I come back, like, I'm watching, because the place was too packed, I couldn't even get in, but I was watching on my phone, like, on the sidewalk, and I'm just freaking out. I'm like, that game, we were texting about how, you know, Sam Darnold might be done, right? He might be turning back into Minnesota end of year Sam Darnold, and how I wish that you could combine Sam Darnold's front end of his year with Jordan Love's back end of his year and just have like the perfect quarterback.
That's the perfect quarterback.
But turns out that the perfect quarterback's just Sam Darnold, because that was crazy. The way that they ended that game. I mean, I'll go ahead before we talk about Dak. That's gonna segue right into my dirty dog of the week is Puka Nacua. Love him or hate him, he's cooking your corners, man. Love him or hate him. I will say I saw this meme that was basically it's like, hey, Puka, do you want to be the best wide receiver in the league? Like, this is a pill that's gonna make you the best wide receiver in the league. The only bad side is, and then he immediately takes it and it's like, all right, the only bad side is you become like Antonio Brown levels of chaotic. And he was like, yeah, still
he's getting there.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, like, oh man. But 12 catches, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, including like some clutch touchdowns. He's destroying your favorite corners on prime time. Like, I genuinely, he's insane.
I mean, some of the stat lines he's put up this season: 10 catches for 130 yards, and then he has 11 for 112, 13 for 170 and a touchdown, 7 for 167 and 2 touchdowns, 9 for 181, 12 for 225 and 2 touchdowns. What? Those are just some of the games. The rest of them are like 75 yards, 97 yards, 85 yards.
He might be, if he can stay healthy, he might be the best wide receiver in the league right now. The thing is, Matthew Stafford needs to be studied, man. Like, he has this ability to create, like, I'm not saying that he created Puka Nacua, right? But I'm saying, like, he has this ability to elevate already good wide receivers into this stratosphere that is just like, what the heck? I mean, Calvin Johnson, obviously amazing, right? But even, like, if you remember back to, like, I believe, who was it? It was Marvin Jones Jr., had, like, a great year with the Lions. You have these guys that are just fantastic. Cooper Kupp with the Rams, right? Obviously. And then you have Puka. Like, Matthew Stafford has to be, like, a wide receiver's best friend. On top of that, though, I do think you're going to have Puka, and he's already talked about this. He's literally going to be this generation's Calvin Johnson, where he's going to just be freaking out, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful career, and then retire at like 30. Because he's already talked about retirement. Yeah, he was like, I don't want to play deep into my 30s, and I think that's just an entire LA Rams thing right now, right? You have guys that had been, Aaron Donald was talking about retiring like from an early age. You have McVay was talking about retiring after they won the Super Bowl. Like, all these guys, I'm like, dude, McVay's still one of the youngest head coaches in the league, and he was talking about retiring. So
they have the money.
They have the money. They have the success. They can always, as we've seen with Philip Rivers, come back. It's
that California mentality, dude. It's let's get out while we're ahead, young, still looking good.
But man, like Puka, at least because he's 24, has like
he's got 6 years.
Yeah, he's got 6 years. And we might be looking at the best because he was a day 3 pick. We might be looking at possibly one of the best day 3 picks of all time. Like genuinely, and granted, right? There's a lot to choose from, but like if he can keep this up, he will break the receiving record in a season. Like if Stafford can stay healthy and stay on that team, and if Puka can stay healthy for an entire year, I would say next year you could see him break that record. Yeah, like honestly, if he had stayed healthy this year, and if that defense was worse, you might see it. But
yeah,
like that single season record might be in jeopardy if he can continue having games like this. So I'm saying, our little Dirty Water Hard Seltzer sponsored event, the Dirty Dog of the Week, Puka Nacua, absolute dog. So
absolutely agreed.
Speaking of getting dogged, how you feel about my Cowboys, man?
You want me to go first? You want me to go first about your Cowboys?
Yeah, because I have a
Look, man, I've been saying it for weeks. This is why Freddy and I made when Freddy and I made that bet. I was so sure Cowboys are making the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I lost.
I've been talking about.
Dang.
Yeah, you lost. Yeah, we'll bring that back up. No, I thought that, and I said it for weeks. The math is not on your side. You're not good enough to catch up in that way. And while the Eagles were sliding, it didn't matter how much they slid. They slid 3 games back and gave you guys only a game and a half. Like, there was that cushion. It was still a game and a half. I just didn't think there was enough time. You guys weren't good enough to make that up. And it would take the Eagles to absolutely collapse. I mean, it would be losses to the Raiders and the Commanders to make the playoffs. I thought that the wild card was way too hard for you to get. And so, if you're talking next season outlook, you're going to be good. You're going to be back. You're going to be healthy. Let's see if George Pickens stays with the team. Let's see how you guys draft on, your first-round picks. Get some really good defensive pieces, I think. You can be competitive next year. It didn't go your way, but if you have a good mentality and strong locker room presence and Dak leads that team the way he needs to, I think you guys can be competitive. But, it just wasn't your year. And I've only been saying that for weeks.
So, major changes, in my opinion, to hit that level, major changes need to be made. Not only like defensive personnel, everyone knows that. I think you gotta get rid of Eberflus as well. I think you gotta that defense has only gotten worse as it looked better, right? And so this is where I sit there and say, oh, it looked better when we played the Raiders, right? So
you guys love taking bad NFC North coaches, dude.
Yeah, it's oh man. It's if it didn't work out, try again is what our mentality is apparently. A couple of things. Jerry Jones doesn't care about winning, and I'm so certain of that. Like he does not care about winning at all.
Never has.
He cares about entertainment, and he is so good at that. I'll give him credit. He knows how to make an entertaining team. That's awesome. It's funny. My family went to the Xbox Bowl because Missouri State was playing in it, and it was in Frisco, and that's where I'm at right now. That's where they're living, and they went, and so it's hosted by the Cowboys. Everybody is filtering in, and they grab these souvenir cups. I have them downstairs. I should have brought one up. It's for the defense, and it has Micah Parsons on it. So Jerry Jones is selling Micah Parsons merch still, which is crazy.
Legally do that?
I don't know. They made him, right? Because he got traded right before the season started. So, like, they were made. Yeah, anyway. So, defensive changes need to happen. What I will say is... So, I'll ask you a question. Do you think... Again, I just want to get a kind of a firm answer. I know there's a longer answer to this, but kind of a shorter answer. Do you think that... Especially if the Eagles lose this week, do you think they lose in the first round of the playoffs?
If the Eagles lose this week, they lose in the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
Okay.
It'll be matchup dependent, but I'm going to say yes. Just
for the sake of that, let's say yes. I think, and Vegas can chart this now, and I will sit here and say I said it, the Cowboys are going to be division favorites for next year going into the season. Especially if if the Eagles lose that first round of the playoffs and implode, everyone's going to be going, oh, well, they ended that season, their offense can't do anything, whatever. But the Cowboys, and they're going to start talking themselves up and talking themselves into it. It happens every year.
If not favorites, co-favorites.
Yeah, well, and and it won't be right as the Super Bowl happens, right? It won't be like, oh, first line's on the seat, right? It's not going to be that. But after the draft, when all of that buzz and hype, oh, Cowboys got 2 studs and all this, right? It's like, or, oh, they reached, but they always reach, and it works out, whatever. They're going to be favorites. I do think that they have a genuine shot at coming out hot next year and taking the league. I don't think they're going to, be like the 1 seed overall or whatever, but kind of like, especially if that schedule is a little bit easier, kind of going out and having a hotter start to the beginning of the year. You have a head coach that's no longer a rookie. You're going to have a defense. Again, we talked about like the morale hits, right? And it's like, I talked about this a little bit. I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but about how, when the Texas Rangers won the World Series and DeGrom wasn't playing and Scherzer wasn't playing, and all these guys they had traded for and signed in the offseason were hurt. And yet you could still feel that energy. It's because the team believes in you, right? The ownership believes in the team, right? And so It's that thing of like, so when you trade one of your best players, or arguably your best player.
The best player. Continue.
3 days before the season, right? Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden you're kind of telling your team, hey, we don't trust you. Yeah. Like, we don't trust you to win. We don't trust you to make the playoffs. And so that's why, I think we saw that change mid-season when Quinnen got acquired and the Cowboys started buying defensive pieces, and then they started winning, right? It's like, and so you see this, the schedule kind of helped, but even they beat the Eagles in that stretch. And so it's like, and they beat the Chiefs in that stretch, which, it's its own thing. But, they're beating these teams. I think if you show this team that you're bought into this team, if Jerry Jones can do that, if Pickens can survive the offseason, then I think you have a genuine shot. But my issue is, and my issue always will be and always has been as a Cowboys fan, is that, even if we start 6-1, I don't know if I trust this ownership to keep up doing the right thing to win. So
Jerry Jones has never cared about winning. I'm just thinking about it right now, thinking about George Pickens. If he does survive the offseason, and let's say you guys go out and get another Zeke-level running back or something in the draft, Dak, Pickens, CD, and then a great... Javonte Williams is solid. Nothing, no shade, but if you can get that offense could be really scary.
Javonte Williams feels like he's going to go sign with, the Chiefs. It feels like he's going to go get a bigger contract elsewhere because he kind of has Rico Dowdled it a little bit, where it's like he's good, but he's kind of middling down the stretch, and like he can get some really good hits, but it's like I don't know if the Cowboys are gonna want to pay him. So if they draft a guy, they love homegrown, players. I've seen this before. Like, it's like you're citing the old language to me. I was there when it was written, man. Like, I've seen Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke Elliott, and Dak before, right? It's like I've seen these guys where it's like this iteration, this 2 wide receiver, and oh my gosh, we got a tight end, and oh my gosh, and our defense is getting better, and all that. I'm just like, this is insanity. This is the same thing happening every year, and it's the same.
Like, and then the Packers and the Cowboys play in the playoffs.
Well, the good news about this year is that at least it felt new going into the year. I was like, oh, we actually might suck. Like, that's it. Like, that's, going into this year, I thought, I'll give Shoddy some credit. I thought we were going to be like 3-14. Like, I thought, this might be a done year. I thought we were setting up kind of in the Patriots way of like potentially trying to get like Bill Belichick next year. Then again, this is before he imploded. But like, setting up to like have 1 year of just absolute garbage and then turn around and have a better year next year. No, it turns out Shoddy's a pretty good coach. Shoddy's not too shoddy, and we have a good kind of base. I just think now it needs a hit, but I don't know if I trust Jerry to do that. So
I don't trust Jerry, but you know what? It would be fun. You guys, if he doesn't go to prison, go get Sharon Moore. Like, really spice things up. I'm a Michigan fan. It was a hard week that week. But anyway, he's clearly not a good person, but we can move on.
I'm so excited. We're going to and you know what? You know what's actually probably going to happen? Like, legitimately? It's going to be all hype, all talk. Week 2, I'm not going to, like, put this in the air. Here's what I'll say. Week 2, Dak Prescott will no longer be playing for the rest of the season. That's all I'll say. Or something like that, right? It's like, I'm not going to say it's, like, injury. I'm going to just say, like, he won't be a Cowboy. And all that. Something will happen in the Dallas Cowboys way. And the Cowboys will fall apart. Will fire Shoddy mid-season. Like, this is the doom, the doom Jerry Jones is bringing to all of us that I'm telling myself. But it's all going to be hilarious because of the Quinnen Williams trade. And the Cowboys will absolutely fall apart. We'll miss playoffs. We'll have like the first overall pick, and Arch Manning.
You want Arch so bad. You want Arch so bad.
And Arch Manning will turn into this wonderful piece, but because the Cowboys traded the stupid saying like, "Hey, we're giving up the highest pick available," it will go to the Jets. And the unfortunate thing is that's exactly what would happen to the Cowboys. Like that feels so wrong that it's right, and I hate it. Like, and what we'll do is end up trading like Dak Prescott and his contract, like eat his contract to the Jets to just get our pick back. Like that's what it's all going to be, because we can't properly negotiate a trade and say, no, the Packers pick or the Cowboys pick. We'll just say, oh, the highest available pick. Just take it. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, like
yeah. You guys are gonna, if you guys want that pick back for Arch Manning, you're gonna have to sell everything.
We'll give you. You know what? Fine. We'll give you Jake Ferguson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, he comes with a what's her name? Something twin. One of those twins. The Cadaver twins. That's not their actual last name, but
sure. You got to give the Jets Quinnen Williams, Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, maybe a first-round pick.
We'll give you Joe Milton.
They might take that.
Yeah, I know. It's the Jets. So speaking of good old, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and the best wide receivers of all time, I hear you have a new segment.
I do. I got a wide receiver tier list that I was not prepared to do. until Freddy told me I was doing a wide receiver tier
Until
list.
Freddy sent us our iPad. Like, what?
He's like, by the way, Josh, you're doing a wide receiver tier list. Oh, okay. Sounds good, Freddy. But I did make one up. Let me go ahead and share it with you.
Okay.
That was fun. All right, we're sharing now. Tell me when you see it. You see it?
Oh, this is cool.
Right? Yeah. I worked hard.
I'd like the temporarily on land is still.
I had to really make sure Freddy felt his flotilla was part of it. So
yeah.
I made it somewhat fun. Not as fun as your tiers you are usually, but you have your elite class, your alpha. You got the 2 to the 1 punch, alpha potential, capable starters. You got depth. I think you got to hang it up or move on to a new team, and then the receivers that are temporarily on land. So let's just start with the elite class. We were talking about it. I think a lot of people have the Chase, Jefferson, Lamb. I also threw Nakua, Smith and Jigba, and St. Brown in there because I thought, you know what, all of these guys have played super well this season. They deserve to be in the same conversation. Jefferson has not had a good season, but who could under his circumstances? He's still up there. Then I think you have your alpha class. That's London, Collins, Brown, Evans to me. Those guys are still phenomenal threats. Health has been a concern for a couple of them, but just as pure receivers, I think they exist there. 2 to the 1 punch. You hate that one? This is where I have the Higgins, Pickens, Adam Smith, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, and Metcalf. Metcalf's there because I couldn't help myself. Punch was in the title. We didn't talk about that, but I felt Metcalf was just yeah, that's where you go. Olave's had a good season. He's not really a 2 necessarily, but I felt he deserved to be in this class, in this range. Adams is hurt, but he's just had a phenomenal season, so I threw him up there. And then I have this fun tier, which I think is alpha potential.
What the heck is this?
This is these are the guys where I'm you
know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
We'll get there. These are the guys where I'm yeah, you've had really great flashes and been amazing and really long stretches for the season. So you got a Mecca. Ladd, his rookie season was phenomenal. This season, not so much, but his rookie season cachet is still holding on for me. Jalen Waddle's up there. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s up there. Both those guys need to get healthy, and their ones are out of the way, at least for Waddle. Tyreek's done. I think Tet's up there. He's shown out. Adunze, he had a great start to the season. He's kind of piddled off a little bit, but I still think he's going to separate himself next year. Brian Thomas Jr., that might be still rookie season hype for me. You were so good. And then at the end of this list, I got Christian Watson. Christian Watson wasn't even an image I could select. I had to go find his image.
No, I could tell. It's just his photo.
Christian Watson, man, him coming back, he has just been electric.
Josh, there's really 4 Packers wide receivers on this list.
And I'll get there. Him and Jaden Reed, though, I think they can really separate themselves. I think that they're just if I don't know, they really impressed me, and especially with Christian Watson, when he came back, he set the world on fire in my opinion. He was having 2 touchdown games, catching deep balls. It was amazing. And then at the end of this list, I have Josh Downs because I still believe in Josh Downs. He's a great receiver. Get him a good quarterback.
He looked really good last night.
He looked great last night. See what happens when he gets targeted? But no, I just, these 2 Packers receivers, I just think they're the heart and soul of our offense. And I just think that they have potential to be talked about as some of the best receivers. Not both of them at the same time, but one of them might be able to separate themselves. And that's where that alpha potential comes in. You might be able to get yourself. No, dude. They're not land lovers. No. I think they're there. And then you got a bunch of capable starters. It's middle of the league. You can go on a good team and you can produce, and that's Michael Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Terry McLaurin, Stephon Diggs, Jacoby Myers, Jordan Addison, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnston, Romeo Doubs, who was my favorite Packers receiver, and I thought he was the best until Christian Watson came back and Jaden Reed came back, but I think he's still extremely capable. If he wasn't on the Packers, someone would sign him immediately. He could make a really big impact. Khalil Shakir, Ricky Pearsall, up and down season. Matthew Golden, kind of too soon to say. I think he's still capable. It's just that receiver room is so crowded. That offense is an offense that wants to spread the ball out, and so it's too early to call for him.
He's
but
got
I
to
think
change that number. That's all it is.
That's what it is. He's got to change that number. Fair enough. No, it's just one of those things where it's like, I can't put you any higher than this, but I don't think you're any lower than any of the guys underneath you. I think you have shown flashes, but you need to start impressing me to be up there. Michael Pittman Jr. and then Alex Pierce, they're solid guys. They could go produce. Depth pieces, it's kind of the same as capable starters. I just didn't want like a 30-person list, and that's the Wan'Dale Robinson, Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney, Keon Coleman, Hollywood Brown. Good depth pieces. You don't hate them on your team. I don't know if you love them on your team, but, they could produce for you. This is another fun one, which I really wanted to get to, was hang it up or move on. These are receivers I think need a new situation or need to just retire. And that's DJ Moore, Deebo Samuel, DeAndre Hopkins, who I forgot, honestly, was in the league. He was making plays. I was like, I forgot you were still on the Ravens. Adam Thielen and Cooper Kupp. I think some of those guys, just Kupp, Thielen, Hopkins, retire. It's over. Kupp had a really nice game the other day, but I think with all of them, it's your career is sunsetting right now. It's over soon. DJ Moore just needs a new situation. He's done on the Bears. And then Deebo, he can still produce, but is he special to me? Has he looked amazing? Not really. He's had a hard season, not really consistent quarterback play, but he's just, I'm not impressed by him. And these are the guys that are temporarily on land because they're either been injured or I don't know what to do with them, and that's Malik Neighbors. I'll get to Rashee Rice. I have a bone to pick with him. Tyreek Hill, Brandon Ayuk, Garrett Wilson. And then I threw Travis Hunter on this list because I don't know if he's going to play receiver, but he was great in college. And Rashee Rice, you're not hurt. I know you're not hurt. You just gave up. It's the end of the season for you. No playoffs. He is one of the reasons why I missed my fantasy championship in a league, all right? He just gave up. So you're on land. I don't even want to look at you. Tell me what's right. Tell me what's wrong.
All right, so you were right. It is hard for Justin Jefferson to succeed with a Michigan quarterback.
That's 9, dude. All right, relax.
just had to throw that in there. The fact that you said that, so I wanted to make sure that you heard your own words. Look, I think your entire I really like the players. I think the elite is said and done. That's beautiful. Your entire alpha tier pisses me off. Not because of the alpha tier. It pisses me off the players, with the exception of Mike Evans. Mike Evans is historically great. He's amazing. He's kind of like at the Devontae Adams level of his career right now.
When he came back, he's looking good.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, I think he's now and that's not bad to be at the Devontae Adams level of your career. Devontae Adams is looking probably about as good. I know he's hurt, but he was looking about as good as he was in Green Bay.
Yeah.
But I feel there's some wide receivers like Nico Collins, Drake London, AJ Brown. Those guys. I feel Nico Collins is his own beast. I think that offense is weird. I think Stroud is going to struggle to keep him afloat, with the exception of when you add weapons. He historically, and this is where I'm going with that, all three of those guys historically don't thrive unless there's no other options in the offense. So Nico Collins' best stats come from whenever Tank Dell went out and they literally had no one else to throw to. AJ Brown's best stats come when they're losing, and when they lose a game. And then Drake London just is that perpetual guy that I keep sitting there and everyone's saying this is the year that he's gonna be number 1 overall, and he just never is. It just feels like he is just constantly just kind of there, and so
he's just too good to put any lower than that. But it's those three guys. It's a weird place for them. I can't put them underneath.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
Had a great season.
I agree with you. They're on the same level with me as some of those guys on alpha potential, where I look at them and I'm like, you also kind of disappoint me a little bit, right? Where I'm like, I wish you would be better. I wish you would be like who you are. But I agree, like they're a tier above the 2-1. Well,
you're finding the theme in for the record. You're finding the theme. I was calculated alpha and alpha potential. That was on purpose. So you're finding it.
Well, in the 2-1, like I think Higgins is I've always thought this. He's remarkably okay. Like he's just fine. He's another one. He's kind of like Nico Collins, where it's like his best games come when there's no other weapons. But beyond that, it's like, and like Pickens, Adam Smith, like love it. Metcalf, that's hilarious. And then I don't know, Olave. I think if you give Olave a quarterback, he's up there in the alpha. Like he
could be, yeah. He's not in 2, and I said that. I just, in terms of where I was ranking these receivers, I didn't know. I couldn't, it didn't fit the script on the category, but that's where he probably fits for me.
Yeah, and I think you can throw Wandale up into capable starter. Like I feel like he's bald this year, dude. Like
no, I agree. I just, again, I was like, I got to separate depth and capable starter. There's got to be some kind of break. Wandale was maybe. I think he's a capable starter. I could be convinced.
Easily.
Yeah, move Pierce down.
It is real funny. It is real funny to just like see some of these names, and I'm just like, man, how the mighty have fallen, right? Like you have like Jordan Addison is just. I'm just like, dude, like you were supposed to be so good, and like. And Xavier Worthy and like Matthew Golden and just like all these guys, I'm just like, oh, like, dang, like they're just not it. Like, Zay Flowers, right? It's like the deeper I go, the sadder I get. But it also to me just proves how elite the elite are, right? Like if I'm sitting there and I'm building a team, there are only a few guys on this list that aren't in that first year that I genuinely want. That I'm like, ooh, put them on my team right now. It's like the 2-1 punch guys I really want. But beyond that, it's like, yeah, fill my team. If I don't have one of the elite guys, fill my team with like 3 of the capable starters rather than like, I almost wish that like we could do, and maybe we do this like in another week. But almost, those like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 things where it's like you take the dollars and you try to like build your best team with like 15 or whatever. I feel like doing that with a wide receiver room is like genuine. I think like that'd be an interesting thing to see, because I do think that like if you're relying on one of the alpha guys and not one of the elite guys, I don't want to be in that position. Like, I would rather just say, okay, give me, right? Well, yeah, it's like, I'd rather give me like 1 2-1 punch guy and then give me just a ton of capable starters. Like, give me Jameson Williams as your number 1 wide receiver, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, dude, I really like this. This was a fun list. This is really fun.
This is fun. Look, maybe I just become the wide receiver guy. I can do the money chart next week. We'll figure it out. But I thought as a throw in, I was like, all right, let me whip something up, and this just felt right. So
yeah. Well, I sent you my tiers. You don't feel free. You don't have to share them because I know I sent them last minute. Also, I've had my flashlight on this whole time ever since the funeral. So this is a little crazy. All right, so I don't know if I spelled Griswold correctly. But here's the thing. It's
I love this.
Good old Christmas season, man. It's December 23rd right now. First of all, everybody, thank you all for listening. I know you should be with your family right now. But thank you all for listening and for kind of spending a really great kind of end of the year with us. It's been really, really fun. And so as the holiday season comes up, as we're watching Christmas movies and stuff like that, at my house at least, I'll say I've created a list of Christmas characters that I feel relate to some NFL teams and where they're at right now. So in this top tier, I've got Clark Griswold, from Family Vacation. Look, they're reliable. They show up. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're reliable. They show up. They go above and beyond. They will invite you into their party, and they will go almost excessively to make sure that everybody is happy. even if it's at the extent of themselves. And they're like the main character of Christmas here. You have the Buffalo Bills, the LA Rams, the New England Patriots, and the Seattle Seahawks. You have these just the reliable, they're going to go to the nth degree. Then you have Buddy the Elf. Very promising, very exciting, very energetic, naive sometimes to say the least about maybe their chances. But you know what? They're here and they're excited. They're just happy to be here, man. It's Christmas time. They're just happy to be celebrating it. And that's where you have the Carolina Panthers, the Chicago Bears, the Denver Broncos, the Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Chargers, the Steelers, and those 49ers, man. Just excited to be here. Just really, really, really full of energy. Then we go to Frosty the Snowman. Frosty's a nice guy, dude. He's fun. He's excited. He came to life. He was alive at some point. But you know what happens to snowmen when the temperature gets turned up, man? When the heat comes on, they start to melt. These teams are teams that were really good at one point, but that magic, is starting to fade a little bit. You got them Atlanta Falcons, the Baltimore Ravens, the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then you got good old Ralphie, dude. Ralphie, can't get out of his own way. He's gonna shoot his eye out, kid. He just really hates this time of year. He's not good when it comes to Christmas time. He's just not good in general. But yeah, above all, he means well, but he cannot get out of his own way. And that's where you have the Cardinals, the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Saints, the Giants, and the Commanders. And last but not least, you have the Grinch. Look, the Grinch, has my heart, but also, man, he's never gonna be happy. He's never gonna be excited when it comes to, this time of year. Because when it comes to the end of the season, he's just reminded what was taken away from him throughout the entire year. And so, he's gonna try to take it from other teams, try to play spoiler, but also, even though what we saw at the end of the Grinch movie, he's not even good at that. He ends up giving the gifts back. And so, he's not gonna play spoiler. This is the worst time of year for him. And that's where you have the Cleveland Browns, the Raiders, the Jets, and the Titans. What are you thinking, man? How'd I do? How do you feel about the Packers melting away?
You nailed some things and you blew it on others, and I feel like I got to defend both NFL franchises and Christmas characters at the same time, because there's a difference here, okay? So first, can I just say, the Grinch, he ends up loving Christmas, so I don't know, your take is interesting, but he ends up actually loving it.
He's adorable at the end, yes, but if you have a mission and you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm gonna ruin Christmas. Did he ruin Christmas? No.
No, he didn't. Okay.
Failed his mission. Mission failed.
I like the tear. I was just like, wait, what about the Grinch? I think the Ralphie tears, that's perfect. I'm going to skip Frosty for now. Buddy the Elf, this just feels like a diss to Buddy the Elf. If I'm Buddy the Elf, I don't want to be associated with the Bears, the Panthers, the Steelers. These are the most
These are playoff teams. These are playoff teams.
They're so undesirable, though. These franchises, I don't want to be any of these franchises.
Buddy was left as a child. Was he desirable?
He was. Santa Claus picked. He wasn't left. He was an orphan, but Santa Claus wanted him. Kind of. Griswold nailed the Packers, though. We're not okay. All of this is going to come back to haunt you. All this Packers hate last week, this week. When it gets turned around and I'm excited again, you all are going to eat it, because the Packers should be their own tier. They should be Rudolph. They're saviors, all right? They're light. They are what Christmas needs right now. And that's their own. They have that tier, all right?
Oh
Yeah,
man, the
yeah,
Packers. The
Rudolph.
Packers are just like the Packers are blitzing, right? It's like Rudolph.
Super reliable, amazing, does their job well.
Yeah,
Is
but they're
good for the team.
when the going gets tough, they're gonna need someone else to come in.
Well, that's why I called them Rudolph. You called them Blitzen. It's a fun tier though. It's just a major insult to the Packers here. We're the Eagles keep them there. That's fine, but we're not the Chiefs or the Falcons. These teams
There's
totally
some
fit
playoff
for us.
teams in there. You got the Eagles and the
You got two.
Buccaneers.
You got two. The Bucks aren't a playoff team right now. They're out.
They might be. They might be. They could win that division.
Anyone can win that division. Cowboys can win that division.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
God. All right. That's a fun tier. I like it, Brady.
Yep,
It's
yep,
a little
there
all
you
over
go.
the place. but I like it.
What else is new? Fantastic. Well, any parting thoughts? Any last thoughts, Josh?
No, I just can't wait to be back after. We're not back next week, but in 2 weeks, when the Packers have wrapped up the North, I can't wait for that show.
This was news to me till like 10 minutes before we went on.
Oh, same. I'm assuming that's gospel because Freddy said it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If you see an episode pop up next week, know that we bullied Freddy into letting one happen. But yeah, I learned we didn't have one next week, so we'll find out. We'll play it. But if not, we'll see everybody in 2 weeks. Everybody, thank you all so much for listening today. Freddy, thank you for editing and getting this all pulled together. I want to wish all of you a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy time with your family, time with your friends. Enjoy time watching football and enjoy listening to this podcast. Thank you all. And if we don't see you before the end of the year, I hope you had a wonderful 2025. I hope you have an even better 2026. We'll have a better 2026 because we'll be here year round. And thank you all, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Thank you for listening.
Cue the intro music, or outro music. Yeah. You can give it another thank you for listening if you want Freddy to edit that on the end.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, sure. All right. I'm stopping.
Second highest one, and I've grown it since it was a baby, and I like it.
Right.
But is it becoming kind of redundant if I get a Riolu? Because then I'll have a fighting fire type, a fighting steel type, and a fighting type. I feel like ditching the fighting type, which is just the Machoke, is kind of the move.
Yeah, probably, because it's the most kind of basic one.
That's kind of my, you know, and the best fighting set in that team is not even like it's Infernape, who has this close combat skill that basically is a one-hit KO.
Right.
So it's like with all that, yeah, I'm in this. So Freddy was like, send me your team. He was like, I'll advise you, because I want to put Haunter back in. My issue is Haunter doesn't really do anything with HMs.